What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Dude to Bet Daily, November 23rd, 2022, the day before Thanksgiving, and we've got action all over the place. But, I can't believe I want to start with this. Let's start with the World Cup. We have had two wild upsets in 2 days now. Japan knocks off Germany earlier today, being plus 4,000 in match at one point. And Saudi Arabia knocks off the second favorite pre-Cup, Argentina, 2-1 at plus 2,500. To put that in perspective, there's no college basketball or football game over plus 2,000 on the board. The closest one is a 30-point dog, Utah to Colorado, and Colorado's plus 1,800. That's how big of a plus 2,500 upset is. Essentially like 40-point dog in football. Papa, dude, like what is this equivalent of? Is this like App State, Michigan? I'm trying to think of upsets that actually make sense to a U.S. audience here.
I'm trying to make myself care. The Saudi Arabia one, yes, that is a shocker. I do know Argentina's good in soccer. I do know that. That is a shocker. And I guess Japan beating Germany is too, because I don't ever hear of the Japanese being very good in soccer. Yeah, that is a huge, that would be like, Vanderbilt beating Alabama or something to that extent, although Vanderbilt's a little bit better this year. Colorado beating USC maybe this year, Yeah, that's got to be a shocker throughout the soccer world for sure.
Now, from a betting angle, Aaron, I laid the 2.5 with Spain today after Germany lost, with the sheer idea that the big favorites now, they're going to come correct in these early games, right? Because you don't want to be the third team now to lose as a huge favorite in this spot.
Yeah, you would think it'd be a wake-up call for teams because they're watching this and saying, well, if it happens to them, it could happen to us. So you would think it would be, but listen, again, I'm glad you asked from the betting standpoint and not to analyze the games because I couldn't tell you. But, yeah, you do see that. I think you see that some of the NCAA tournament. If you have a crazy Thursday, sometimes the Friday will kind of correct itself because teams are kind of woke up. They're like, oh, here's what's happening. So I didn't know Saudi Arabia played soccer. So that was shocking. I did see that they won that game. And, just nuts. You think about how big of an upset that is. And I'm glad you put it in the terms that, American bettors can understand. That's incredible.
Hey, I got an angle on this.
Okay.
This came to me. It's over in Saudi Arabia land. It's not in Saudi Arabia, but it's in that area. Could the sheiks have given the Argentina's players some money? Bought them off and they said, hey, why do you want to win the cup? And we'll make you millionaires.
It's interesting you say that. A story came out today that the home country, Qatar, would not release footage of any of their matches leading up to the games. And so there's an integrity expert that reached out to the World Cup specifically around betting in Qatar games. Now, they lost their first game 2-0, but apparently there were a ton of penalties called in those early games, which may have made the matches seem closer than they appeared and made the Qatar seem better than everyone thought, which is why they were a slight dog in that first game. So nothing like the World Cup to stir up a little bit of controversy.
Yeah. Who did the Spain Bullfighters play tonight?
The Spain Bullfighters, they're playing Costa Rica right now. They're up 3-0 at half.
Okay,
Costa Rica just switched 5 defensive backs. Aaron, could you explain to us how that's going to make a difference here in the second half?
No, I can't.
All right, let's jump over here to the NFL news. Zach Wilson gets benched just to continue the atrociousness of that quarterback draft. Papa dude, it was time for this, right? He had less completions than the Jets had punts on Sunday against the New England Patriots.
Yeah, and that was just a horrible loss for the Jets, the way they lost it and everything. And they got a tough game this week, too. I was just looking at it. Are they getting ready to tank? It kind of seems like it, like they are. Who's the backup?
Backup is Mike White, who's probably 2 points better than Zach Wilson.
Yeah.
The backup is Joe Flacco, who somehow is still in the NFL.
Yeah. I don't like their chances this week. They got the Bears. That's the only hope they have. They're playing the Bears. But the Bears are due to win a game, so that might be a game to look at this week. So, yeah, he was atrocious in New England. And so was the New England quarterback as well. So
Mac Jones has full check down Charlie mode there. Good completion percentage, but it was like I think his ADOT was sub 5 yards, so not great there. The key with that Bears game, Aaron, you might be missing Fields for the rest of the year now. It looks like Justin Fields shoulder injury carted off the field late in that game. If he doesn't come back, you kind of look toward the under here because you'd think that the Jets defense, who've been fairly good all year, could shut down the Bears. And I mean, do we really think the Jets offense is going to start steamrolling people now?
I would go under for sure. It is one of those situations where the Bears haven't really stopped anybody for 6 weeks or so. But if you're going to stop somebody, it probably would be the Jets. It's weird. Zach Wilson's been bad. I'm not trying to say he's been good or anything like that. Don't get me wrong, but he is really, really bad against the Patriots. I mean, atrociously bad against the Patriots. Twice they probably should have beat them with any kind of quarterback play whatsoever, and twice. It wasn't great. And it's funny that the Patriots kind of just ruined the Jets quarterbacks over the years, right? Sanchez, Darnold, now Zach Wilson. But yeah, look, I would lean under towards that game. It's probably not going to be a great one to watch. Will be interesting. The Jets are still right there. They're in this thing, which is weird to say, but it's true. We'll see if they can kind of come through here. If they get some quarterback play that just don't turn it over, just, make the simple plays. Maybe they can get back on the winning side of things. So it's kind of interesting. A lot of times when you see a quarterback get benched, the team isn't 6-4 and in a position to make the playoffs. So that makes it pretty fascinating in this situation.
Yeah, I'd say the 6 and 7 seeds in both conferences, very murky right now in the NFL. A lot of different teams that are up for grabs, a lot of bad teams that could still make the playoffs here, including the Giants, who are 7-3 and currently sitting in one of those spots. Real quick, I wanted to mention a game here just because of the joke total. We talked about the 31.5 total we had in Iowa. Did you guys see that the Denver Broncos total this week facing the Carolina Panthers is 36? It opened 34.5. It's been bet up to 36.
I think that's got to be an under, don't you?
I think it's an under all day long.
Yeah.
It's wild there. The Broncos have scored 20 points in one game all season. I think they've given up 20 only once as well. Unders in Broncos games are 8-1 now. One loss all season. 8-1-1 for the year so far. Denver Broncos unders. So that's one. If it ticks very much higher, I'm definitely interested in that one. We'll hit all the Thanksgiving games tomorrow, assuming I have the Haltermans here on as a special Thanksgiving edition of Dudes Who Bet Daily. We haven't talked about that, so we'll figure that out here after the show and let everybody know. But we'll definitely hit up those NFL games if we are on tomorrow. Let's jump over to the ice here. We've got full slates from both the NHL and the NBA. In the NHL, let's kick it off with the 17-2 Bruins, who are on the road at Florida and a dog in this game. They're minus 105 right now. Florida minus 115. Aaron, what do you do with this one?
Listen, there's two games tonight that involve similar situations. This is the first one. Glad you brought it up. I went with Florida. It's just more of I talk about this all the time about baseball and with hockey and with the NBA. It's more of a law of averages type of play, right? The Bruins have got to lose eventually. This is a tough place to go in and play against a pretty talented team. The Panthers have not played well this year, as you guys have known, and I was pretty high on them early. I've really went away from them lately. They just haven't looked great. You just kind of feel like it's Florida. It's the day before Thanksgiving. The Bruins have got to lose eventually. So I went with the Panthers in this spot tonight. I don't like the minus 115. I wish they were underdogs. But I ended up going with Florida, just thinking law of averages. Bruins are going to lose one.
Kind of feels like an NFL. It's a trap line, right? Where they want you to bet the Bruins here, minus 105. I threw a little bit of coin at the over. Papa Dude sitting at 6.5 right now. I think you're going to see some goals in this spot. What are your thoughts here on Bruins Panthers?
Well, Aaron hit the nail on the head. Exactly what I was going to say. We're all waiting for Boston to lose because you just can't keep winning in hockey. Something bizarre happens and usually you lose. They'll be ready to play this game because it's Florida. And the Panthers aren't playing very well. And I think the other game Aaron was alluding to was the Devils, right? Yep. And I don't know who I forget who they're playing.
They're at home against Toronto trying to set a franchise record 14 wins in a row.
Absolutely. And we're thinking the same thing on them. And I went with Toronto tonight, just thinking they're due to lose. I mean, the Devils are not looked at as a great team like Boston is, simply because they've come out of nowhere to be where they're at. And Toronto's one of those teams that can win anywhere or lose anywhere as far as that goes. I went with Toronto tonight on the same logic that Aaron went with Florida on, the Devils are due to lose a game, and Toronto's good enough to beat them. So 2 very, very interesting games tonight.
Not so fast, my friend. Give me the Devils. I think they're going to be able to get the job done tonight. Keep it rolling. They beat Toronto recently. They have been playing really, really good team hockey, as have the Bruins. But the Bruins, I think, face a stiffer test today. I think you hit the nail on the head on Toronto as well. They're kind of a Jekyll and Hyde team. You don't always get that A-plus effort from them. So I think that New Jersey keeps it rolling here. I have no idea who's going to win that Boston-Florida game, although it should be a fun one to watch.
Yep.
Aaron, any thoughts on New Jersey-Toronto?
Oh, man. I went Toronto as well. I just feel like, listen, it's so hard to win these games. It's so hard to win back to back, over and over and over. And I just feel like law of averages are going to step up. It's the same kind of thing. It's a Toronto team. They're playing okay. They're not playing as great as we thought they would early, but they're not awful. I just feel like it's another kind of a trap game. Again, day before Thanksgiving, Toronto is going to be ready. If you would say before the season, hey, look at the Devils roster, look at the Toronto roster, you're going to take the Toronto roster. I think they're ready. I think they go in and I think they beat them. And unlike Florida, who's minus, I think plus money here on Toronto makes it even more appealing.
Yeah, getting plus 115 right now on Toronto. Total in that game, 6.5 as well. Wouldn't be shocked if we see some goals there. The other game I wanted to talk about here, because I almost made it my best bet, Pittsburgh Penguins minus 125 at home against the up-and-down Calgary Flames. I think Pittsburgh's just a better team here. And Calgary's just been so inconsistent this year. Minus 125 seemed a little light. That was almost my best bet of the day. Aaron, you're nodding your head. You with me on Pittsburgh here?
Yeah, I'm with you on Pittsburgh. Both teams have been a little inconsistent. I'm with you. I don't really believe in this Calgary squad yet. They lost some key players. I just feel it's kind of like I'm going against them. Wait and see. Let's see if they come together. They've just been okay. I like Pittsburgh at home as well. I'm with you on that one.
Papa Dude, last game we'll talk about here from the ice. The Predators heading into Detroit, facing the Red Wings, who are 9-5-4. One of the surprising teams early in the season. And they're only minus 115 against a Predators team who has not been wonderful. I mean, they're 9-8 on the early season, but have struggled a little bit on the road. Did you look at this Preds Wings game at all for your bet?
I did. I'm a little higher on Nashville than most people are. I don't think Vegas is sold on the Red Wings yet, obviously. I think they get this one tonight in Detroit. They're quietly a pretty good team, 9-5-4. You're not going to argue with that. They're playing very, very well. The Preds are playing a little better, but they're better at home. They're more bettable at home than they are on the road. So I like Detroit a lot in this one tonight too.
Aaron, I'm going to go one more hockey game because I want to talk a little bit about Tage Thompson, St. Louis Blues, first-round draft pick. The reason we got Ryan O'Reilly, the reason we won a Stanley Cup, we ship him off to Buffalo. He scored the most goals in the NHL in the last month. He's got 13 and 13 and 26 and 19 games, been absolutely on fire. Now St. Louis heads into Buffalo. We're minus 155 favorite tonight. I thought that was a toss-up game. Do you think the Blues keep it rolling here?
And you just find ways to go against my St. Louis Blues. Certainly not yours, but mine, absolutely. Listen, the Tage Thompson thing is incredible, right? He did nothing really for the Blues, but he didn't have a lot of opportunities. He did nothing for Buffalo for 3 years. Last year, he scores 38 goals. This year, he's got 13. Who could have seen that coming? It's just out of nowhere. And it wasn't like, okay, he scored 5 and then 12 and then 20. No, it was like 2, 3, 38. So, yeah, give them a lot of credit. They're coming off a big win in Montreal. They look great last night in Montreal. I'm worried about it. I'm with you on it to get serious about the Blues for a minute. That's another one. They've won 7 in a row. They're due to lose. Kind of a weird trap game before having to go to Florida for back-to-back games against Tampa and the Panthers. I think it's a toss-up. I agree with you.
Yeah, I'm not going to advocate betting Buffalo plus 135, but it would be tough to lay 155 in a game, which feels like it could really go either way, right, Papa Dude?
Oh, no question about it. And this is with the trip they've got going down to Florida, 2 games that are easy to lose. They need this one tonight. This is a very big game for them. Then they can go down there. And the Blues normally play well against good teams, and it wouldn't be against them to win one of those in Florida. This is huge, considering where they've come from to get themselves back in it. I didn't think they played particularly well against Anaheim on Monday, but they got to win, and that's what you got to do. They got to do the same thing tonight. They got to go up there, muck it up a little bit, see if they can get another big one. I think they should be ready to play this game. Buffalo had lost, I think, 10 in a row? No, it was 8 in a row until they won last night. So I'm glad they got that game last night. They get that streak broke, and let's start another one tonight.
I like it. Blues covered both the -1.5 in both games against Anaheim, including Aaron's best bet there on Sunday to get a nice little cash home. Love that. Let's head over to the hardwood here. We've got 4 games featuring teams with winning records tonight. We're going to kick it off with the Trailblazers headed into the Cleveland Cavaliers. Cleveland laying 8 at home, the total 216. Portland been sneaky good on the road, 6-3 away from Portland so far this year. Papa Dude, any feelings on here on the Cavs Trailblazers game?
I think the line's too big. I think Cleveland wins, but 8, I don't know if they can win by more than that. I would go Cleveland to win, but I think I would take Portland plus the points.
I took Portland plus the points. I agree with you, Papa Dude. Aaron, any thoughts here?
You guys are right. I don't know. I didn't look at that game at all. Yeah, but I'm going to go with you guys. Go, you guys, go.
We've got the Timberwolves heading into Indiana, Aaron, where the Timberwolves are 9-8, Pacers 10-6, and the Timberwolves are a slight favorite here by 2 points. Indiana been a surprising team. A lot of people thought they were going to be a tank team, and here they are with a winning record about a quarter way through the season. I kind of like the home team and taking the points with the Pacers again here. Who do you like here, Aaron?
Indiana, basketball state. Indiana Pacers win.
I like the college game day style. Papa Dude?
I think they've won 6 in a row, haven't they?
They've been good, yeah.
Red hot, playing well. I'm not high on Minnesota. Give me the Pacers tonight for a Thanksgiving Eve victory.
You can tell I'll sit here and talk hockey all day with you guys. You want to go every game. NBA.
This is the hard pass for me. I like it.
Last game, Indiana.
I'm taking an NBA game as my best bet, so we'll get back to the marquee game on the sheet today. Last game I want to talk about, Papa Dude, the Clippers heading into the Warriors. The Warriors 7-1 at home. 7-1. 1-9 on the road. Do they keep this home mojo going against the Clippers tonight?
Well, I looked at that game tonight and the point spread and everything, and I wondered, why is this such a deal? Tons of injuries for the Clippers.
Yep.
So make sure you do your research on these NBA games because there's a lot of guys out right now, and they are really hampered. I think the line's 9.5, isn't it? Something like that.
It's dropped down to 9, total 224.5. Right
yeah,
now.
That's still a lot of points. But boy, the Clippers are crippled up in this one. I think Golden State is playing off. They're not playing very well. Usually if the Clippers get beat, they get beat pretty bad. I don't know. I'm staying away from it because I don't know what that injury situation is going to be. They may play some of those guys. You never know.
This is a classic NBA in-game to me, where you let this play out in the first quarter, first half. You hope the Warriors get down early, and then you can take the Warriors back at somewhere like -1, -2, somewhere in the second quarter for the full game and see if you can get a just win the game type Warriors situation against a Clippers team that's pretty beat up. Aaron, any thoughts on Clippers-Warriors?
Warriors, big Warriors. They're good. Warriors.
All right, let's head over to the racetrack. It's a Wednesday, and we have a massive pool developing here at Parks. Their Philly 5 is going to be a mandatory payout today. It starts in race number 6, features 3 $75,000 stakes races. Pretty tough sequence when you go through this. Big fields. You got maidens to kick it off. Pretty unpredictable there. Then those 3 back-to-back stakes races. We picked race number 8 as our race of the day today, coming at you, like I said, from Parks. And the reason for that is I thought this was a really, really tough race. You've got the 2, Sweet Wilhelmina, who is 9 for 13 over this Parks track. You've got the 7, who's going to be what I believe is a heavy favorite, one of the more singled horses in this sequence. Remain Anonymous for Falcone and Irad jumping up. You've got Oksana, the 9, who is 3 for 4 at Parks, 2 for 2 at the distance. The 11, Bervin Bombay. This is going to be the 4th start of this 5-year-old's career, but he is undefeated at Parks and the distance. Really tough race, Papa Dude, on a Wednesday here, especially smack dab in the middle of a sequence that's going to feature over $2 million in it. Who would you like here in the Parks 8th race?
Oh, this is a toughie. Golden Tabby's pretty good too.
I didn't mention all the contenders. You could go 6 or 7 deep here if you wanted to.
Yeah, I mean, this is a big one. I think you got to go with the 7, Remain Anonymous, but there's a lot of ways to look at this one getting beat. I love horses like, and Aaron knows this, like Sweet Wilhelmina. Those are my guys. I love those horses because I looked this horse up, 12 starts this year. I love these old workhorses. They're just workmanlike. Just throw them out there every 3 weeks, see what happens, and they love it. Not only that, hit the board 10 out of 12 times with 5 wins. So this isn't a stretch to think this horse at 6-1 might not win because the horse knows how. I like the 11 too. Bourbon, what is that? Bombay, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's done nothing but win. And you can say the same thing about Golden Tabby, who's coming off 3 straight allowance wins. This isn't that much of a jump. So you got to go pretty deep, I think, in this one.
Yeah, I think the contention definitely runs deep here. I ended up on the 9 Oksana on top. I'm going to try and beat Remain Anonymous. The problem, the 2 races prior to that grade 2 Giant Bloom were both very, very good races and would trounce this field. You're really hoping that you regress off of those 2 or there's somehow faulty numbers there. Aaron, what did you think of the 7 here? Is this a single or are you going to look at going deeper here and do you have someone else you like on top?
I went deeper. I did not single the 7, even though that, as our commenters are saying, iPad is up at Parks today and riding for the 7 horse. Remain Anonymous. I didn't single. I think Golden Tabby is going to be tough here, guys. The number 4 Golden Tabby. I think we'll get a decent price. I don't know if we'll get 6-1, but I think we'll get close because they're going to bet the 7 hard here. Papa Dude said it, won 3 in a row here at Parks, or 2 of the 3 came at Parks, I should say. I think this is a nice horse, and I think drawn inside of all the other speed, get to the front. We've watched Parks day in and day out, and that's usually what wins these 6 furlong races, 6.5 in this case. Same difference, though. Get to the front, and I think Golden Tabby's going to do it, and I think she gets to the front, tries to take him gate to wire. The 7 looked pretty good 2 races back here, but we'll see. I don't know. I'm going to take a little shot against try to get a price in this one.
The 10 horse is out, JD's Vista, which leaves 6 of the 11 with at least 3 wins at Parks in this race. I don't think I've ever seen 6 of the 11 horses in a stakes race have 3 wins over that track. And so it's hard to even say any of these are horse for a course because they're kind of all a horse for a course, which makes this spot really tough. I'm going to go on the 9 Oksana. It sounds like, Aaron, you're on the 4, was Golden Vista or Golden Tabby. And Papa Dude, your official pick here?
I think I've talked myself out of the 7. I'm going to go with my old favorite kind of horse, Sweet Wilhelmina. Go get him.
I like it. This is going to be a fun race, smack dab in the middle of a very fun sequence. If you're playing anything today, play at Parks, and we'll see how horse racing Twitter responds to this sequence because I think it may be a very interesting day over there on horse racing Twitter around this Parks Pick 5 sequence. And we'll just leave it at that. If you know, then you know. We'll go over to the best bets here for the day. I'll kick us off. I'm going to go back to the hardwood. The marquee game of the night is the Mavericks heading into Boston to face the Celtics. Celtics are laying 4.5 now, so you can get 4.5 instead of 5 if you would like. To me, this is just a simple bad matchup for the Mavs. I mean, when they face good defenses, they struggle to put the ball in the net. Their defense itself, not very good. Boston's been scoring 120 a game easily at a clip. Prior to their last loss here, they had won multiple games in a row. This is their first game of a homestand, first game coming back off the road. They lost their last road game. They're going to be motivated to play well here. This is a good spot for them offensively against bad defense and they are a Luka type stopping team. They have multiple people that can go out and they can play Luka, which I think slows them down. I like Boston here as a short home favorite tonight. I'm going to lay the 4.5 or 5, depending on what you want to get here. Papa Dude, what do you think tonight? I think this is a marquee game in the NBA. You got Dallas going into Boston. It's going to be on TNT. What are your thoughts on this one?
Oh, you got to take Boston. Right now, they're playing as well as anybody. And Dallas is up and down. They're not playing very well. So I like this on the home court tonight. Celtics should win this one fairly easily.
Aaron, any thoughts on this basketball game?
I don't have anything good for this one. Celtics, big tonight.
All right, now let's head over from the Boston Celtics to the Sam Houston State something or other. Papa Dude, I'm assuming this is college basketball. I don't know for sure, but I'm going to assume you're headed to the hardwood here. It may be women's college basketball.
No, it's not.
Fill us in, Papa Dude. What are we doing here?
All right. Now, the reason I know all this is I'm having to pick all these games. And today we have 66 college basketball games today. 66 of them.
You guys pick every single
and
one.
I used to do what?
I can't believe you guys pick everyone for the site.
We had 66 of these. We had 15 hockey games. And I don't know how many NBA, at least probably 15 of those. So it was crazy this morning getting all these done. And I actually try to get these right. Sometimes I don't think Aaron does, but I do. I do. I looked some of these up. Now, the reason I know something about Sam Houston State is they beat Oklahoma in their first game, in OU's first game of the season. We all thought this was awful. Well, turns out this team's pretty good. They beat Utah also. They're undefeated, and they are a good team. And this loss doesn't look as bad as it did at the time. They're playing and by the way, they're the Bearcats. Sam Houston State
Bearcats. I would have been Jackrabbits. I was about to look it up. All right.
The Jackrabbits are South Dakota State's the Jackrabbits, and they're awesome too. I bet them a lot also. But anyway, they're not playing South Dakota State tonight. They're playing South Dakota, the Coyotes, which I like that one too. So they're 3-2. They've beat nobody. I'm not sweating this one. Sam Houston State's going to win this game. The one I'm sweating is my hockey one. Well, we got Columbus and Montreal. Aaron stole my bet today, but that's okay. I'll let him do it. But anyway,
what a day.
I had to get something to make this valuable. So I went with Columbus at home tonight against Montreal. The Blue Jackets have been playing much better. They've won 4 of their last 6. They can throw in a clunker every once in a while. They lost a couple of games ago, 6-1 to Detroit. That was at home. This is the 5th game of a homestand where they've won 3 of 4. They're playing pretty well. And then Montreal comes in after a horrible loss last night at Buffalo. Not the fact they lost, but it was 7-2. So they're coming off a back-to-back. They're not playing very well right now. I think Columbus scalps them tonight. And Allen's not playing for Montreal because he played last night. That might be a blessing. That might be a blessing not to have him out there. So I like this one to get a little value at plus 162. I went with that, and I think I would have taken Columbus anyway in this game. They're pretty good at home. So I like that. So we're going to go with the Bearcats. And by the way, what's a blue jacket?
It's a bumblebee that got hit with blue paint.
Yeah, because that's a pretty dumb mascot, don't you think?
Yeah.
The Bearcat.
When on your sweater, there's a cannon. I think a blue jacket actually refers to some type of soldier. I would assume, based on the way that.
That's better. Well, that's a little better. But anyway, do you know who the mascot? I'm going to give you 2 mascots here, Mike.
I'll do it.
I know only because of these college basketball games. Campbell. First of all, do you know that's a university? Campbell University.
I know Campbell.
Yeah, I know Campbell University. They're not. Oh God, they're red and black or yellow and black.
Yeah,
that's good.
Oh man, they're not the Bears though. I don't know what.
No, they're the Camels.
They're the Camels.
The Camels.
Of that camel population in Campbell.
Here's another good one. Aaron knows this one. Albany.
Yeah.
Oh, I should know this one because I've spent enough time upstate there. They're blue and white. I can tell you the colors of all these
That's
teams.
That's great that you know the colors.
But no, I don't know. Who's the Albany mascot?
They're the Great Danes.
Great Danes.
Oh,
really
I did
cool
know that.
That's fantastic. Those are fantastic rivals.
Yeah, you know what I really feel when I'm playing ice hockey? A Great Dane on the ice with me. That
would be fantastic.
Yes.
Anyway, there we go. That's my trivia.
All right, Aaron, tell us about the bet you stole from Papa Dude.
Well, look, this one does. If you bet hockey, which, spoiler alert, I do bet a lot of hockey, this one really does jump out at you because the Avalanche are minus 205 today at home against the Canucks, and then the Golden Knights out in Vegas are minus 250 at home against the Senators. That's 2 of the best teams in the league versus 2 of the worst teams in the league. You pair that up, you get plus money. It just seems too logical not to do it. So I certainly am going to go with the Avalanche Golden Knights parlay. There's not a ton to break down here. The Avalanche really, they weren't playing great early. They're playing really well right now, though. They're starting to really hit their stride. A really exciting win in their last game. So I like Colorado a lot here. I think they'll dominate the Canucks. And then the Senators, really one of the worst teams in the league, like I said. And the Golden Knights sitting there at 15-4-1. I don't think we really thought they would be just a fantastic team this year. They are.
You thought it last year, though. This is that NFL vibe where you're like, this team is going to rock it this year, and they're going to be great, and then they suck, and the next year they're really good. That's what this Golden Knights season feels like.
Great point. Yep, great point. That is a really good way to put it because you're right. You did think they were going to be really good, and they weren't. Man, they're good. They are a dynamic team. They're good on offense. They're good on defense. Goaltending's holding up so far. So yeah, I really like these two. And look, you said the Celtics were on at some time, and then the Golden Knights are on TNT after that, I think. So a little back-to-backer for you there.
The Celtics are ESPN at 7:30. You've got the Golden Knights at 10 o'clock on TNT. If you want the TNT early game, it's Flyers Capitals, which we didn't talk about. Two pretty disappointing teams there. I probably will not be watching that one. I'm not going to
lie. No, because the Blues are playing at that time. So why would I be watching that?
There you go. Blues
well, you
might. 7 o'clock tonight. There's no Maction tonight, which I'm actually kind of pissed about. We need to talk about this, Mac. Why do we not have any Maction on a Wednesday night? You're leaving me hanging here. I only get 4 football games. Massive football weekend this weekend. We'll have it all covered. Papa Dude, Aaron, are we doing a show tomorrow?
I mean, I could do a show.
We might.
Yes, we are. That's the answer. We'll see everybody back at noon.
I'm just trying to decide what the time would be.
What time would it be? 10?
Yeah, you guys can text me when you can go. I'm good until 5 o'clock. That's why I have to be over at my sister's for dinner.
Okay.
I would say 10 might work better. What do you think, Aaron?
10 Central, yeah, would probably be good.
All right, we'll be back at 11 Eastern, 10 Central tomorrow to talk about the college football game. We've got more World Cup. We've got 3 NFL games, which actually you could argue are the most 3 watchable games of the entire freaking week. The Sunday slate is awful in the NFL. Mm-hmm. So excited for some Thanksgiving football. Let's review the best bets here before we take off. We've got Papa Dude taking the Sam Houston State. I already forget their name, Papa Dude. What are they?
Bearcats.
The Sam Houston State Bearcats and the Blue Jackets, plus 162 on the money line. Aaron taking the Avalanche and the Golden Knights, plus 117. I'm keeping it simple. Celtics are going to blow the Cavs out, or the Mavs out tonight. Give me Celtics -5. Up $138 for the year now after a nice little Sunday comeback with that 3-1 after an atrocious start to the week last week. Don't forget, we got the Parks, pick 5. And if you're wondering, free picks every game, every day in the sports world from both of these two guys. I jump in on hockey and the NFL. You can check us out on Tally site as well. If you want our spread picks, you can check that out over there too. Thank you very much for joining us. We will see everybody tomorrow for a special Thanksgiving edition at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Central. Good luck at either the race or the sports today. All that jazz. Bye-bye.